This topic will be with the name origin of law and state. Okay, maybe you know something about origin of the law and state or not? You've heard something, yeah? And it was some information from your lectures in Ukrainian, yeah? And maybe you remember some theories of the origin of the state and law. The name of these theories, yes or no? Patriarchal theory, perfect, then. Okay. Maybe do you mean the Neolithic Revolution? Yeah, the idea of Neolithic Revolution or something like this, yeah? Okay. Should I repeat the question? Yeah? Okay. I asked about some theories of the origin of the state and law. Maybe you remember some names, yeah, of these theories. You said patriarchal. It was the perfect example of this theory. Then, idea of the Neolithic Revolution. Of course, we can speak about Neolithic Revolution as some way of the origin of the state and law. Why not? Then, maybe you heard about divine theory. Divine. What is this? Could you? Yeah, you are right. You can translate this. And we'll speak about these theories. Yeah. So, first question of our lecture: theories of the origin of law and state. Next question will be about social regulation in the primitive society. We should speak about this process because without knowledge of this process, we will not know something about the origin of the state and law. And last question: historical types of the state and law. So, you said about some theories. And as you remember, I said about divine theory. Maybe you know some idea of this divine theory. How can we explain the origin of the state and law by this idea of the divine theory? Yeah.
State is the creation of God.
Yeah, of course. State is the creation of God. And not only state, maybe, yeah, law. Yeah, and law too, and maybe all ideas of our world, yeah. Oh, I should say that today we have International Day of Peace. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, of course. And I should congratulate you, but we shouldn't go to celebrate this now. Yeah, it may be for you, but not now. Maybe after our lecture here. Okay. Next moment about divine theories. What do you want to say about these theories? Of course, divine theory about origin of the state and law. Yeah, oldest theory. Maybe you know this idea. And of course, we can speak about the divine theory not only in the jurisprudence. Yeah, we can speak about some ideas of the divine origin, I don't know, in sociology, in philosophy, in the other sphere of knowledge, yeah, and fields of knowledge. But in jurisprudence is the oldest too, and of course popular. But I think maybe you have some critics, yeah, of this theory, maybe, but we'll speak about these critics, about these opponents and proponents, yeah, of these ideas. So, according to this theory, state is established and governed by God himself. You said about these moments, and you were absolutely right. God may rule the state directly or indirectly, it doesn't matter, yeah, through some ruler who is regarded as an agent of God. Yeah, that is why here we can speak about the power of some kings, yeah, and some characteristics of this power. What can we say about this characteristic of this power of some kings? That Okay, I ask not about some example. Yeah, you are right. It can be like example. Yeah, and he said 13 or 14, as you remember, Ludovic XIV said that the state is he. Yeah, why?
Because all the power was concentrated in his
Okay, why not? We can speak about this moment, but we are trying to speak about characteristic of the state power and the characteristics of the king's power in the state. So the king was like God, yeah, like God, but not in the heaven. Yeah, yeah, we haven't some heaven power, yeah, but he has power, but he had, yeah, power on the earth, yeah, earth. Okay, so and for example, the trace of divine origin is seen in the Indian epic Mahabharata. And now I want quoting. Yeah, do you know what is quoting? Quotation. Yeah. According to the Mahabharata, there was anarchy in the beginning in the society, and the people prayed to God to come to their rescue. I'm quoting, yeah, and maybe you will understand this quotation. Without a chief, a lord, where perishing give us a chief, whom we shall worship and who will protect us. Okay, yeah, did you understand my idea? It was under these circumstances that God appointed the king to rule the people. Yeah. So, and another characteristics of this divine power, or what are the characteristics? This power from God, first characteristic. Then the king should protect, yeah, protect all people in this state. That is why divine theory has some interesting ideas. Yeah, not only, oh, it's okay, the king is a very, very big person, yeah, big boss, but at the same time, yeah, the king should protect all the people in this state. And I should say about proponents and opponents of this divine theory. Proponents of this theory affirm that law must be laid down or inspired by God, who governs according to principles of compassion, truth, and justice. So here we can see that another characteristic of this divine theory and the characteristics of the power of the king. For example, it can be king, it can be another theorem here, yeah. And of course, maybe it's a good idea of the divine theory, yeah. When we will try to speak about such values, yeah. I think it's values for you, yeah. Yes or not? Yes. Okay. So compassion, truth, and justice. Okay. Then here I should say, of course, about another example. And according to the Judeo-Christian belief and Old Testament, and I think you know the name of this main idea of the Christianity. Yeah, I mean the 10 Commandments. 10 Commandments. Yeah, you know what is this?
Yes.
Okay, and according to these 10 Commandments, were delivered by Moses, by God on Mount Sinai, Yeah. These 10 laws represent one example of divine law. And for example, we can speak not only about such a famous book like Bible. Yeah, here we can speak about Torah too. Yeah, did you hear such name?
No.
Torah.
No. Yeah, that's really
Yeah. You are right. Yeah, Jewish. So the Bible and Torah are thought by many to be other sources of divine natural law because their authors are said to have been inspired by a divine spirit. Okay, of course, this theory was very popular not only time of medieval ages. Yeah, do you know what is medieval ages? Yeah, of course, this theory was popular a bit later too, but of course, the most popular idea for Middle Ages. Another quotation, and of course, here we can speak about the Hammurabi's laws. Don't you hear this name? Hammurabi. It's a very famous. Okay, in Ukrainian, just закони. Закони Hammurabi. Maybe you heard this name. Now you heard. It's exactly, yeah. I wanted to quote the idea from this Hammurabi's law. So it was written, the man is shadow of God. The slave is shadow of the man. And the ruler is godlike. Yeah, the same idea we said about this idea, and we said that ruler was like godlike. Yeah, if you began to say like this. Do you know this word godlike? Yeah, godlike. Богоподібний. Or in the China, the name of emperor was son of heavens. Yeah, son of heavens. And of course, this idea has some divine roots. The divine theory has some idea of two swords. Maybe you heard? No? Two swords. Yeah, you are absolutely right. Двох мечів. Don't you hear about this idea? Yeah. Okay. And I explain what is this. So the divine theory of two swords grew popular in Western Europe in the Middle Ages. For example, we have two parts, the main parts in our society. Yeah, one part is the secular power. Do you know what is secular? No, світська. And another part is the divine power. Yeah, of representatives of the church. Yeah, okay, and that is why we have in this idea two swords. Yeah, one sword for the secular power. Yeah, and another sword for the divine power or the power of the church. Yeah, okay, this is the main idea. So the church has one of these sword, but clergymen don't use it because the church can't use weapon. Yeah, you know this, and can't shed one's blood. And the other one was given to governors because they could rule using it. And I should say about the author of these ideas and the authors of the ideas of the divine theory of the origin of the state and law. Maybe you know? Thomas Aquinas. Okay. And so then, as you can see, the divine theory turns down reason of the state organizing and lawmaking. and very consider this unexplained sometime. Maybe even nobody can understand that. Yeah. And another ideas, and here I should say maybe about the monarchical form of the state. Yeah. And in this case, when we will try to explain the origin of the state from the position of the divine theory, of course, we will speak about monarchical state firstly. You know what is monarchy? Yeah, and you know what is monarchical state. And now I should say that we haven't such number monarchies in our world. Yeah, but of course, no wonder the theory of divine origin also does not find its supporters nowadays, excluding a few religious legal systems like, for example, Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Here, of course, we can speak about this idea. Of course, the representatives of Saudi Arabia can use this idea of the origin of the state, and it's a very interesting and comfortable idea for them. Yeah? Maybe. Maybe. Okay. So now you know what is divine theory, I hope. And we can go to the next idea. And I want to speak about natural theories. Of course, here we can speak about Greek and Roman philosophers. For example, like Aristotle, like Cicero, and so on. And of course, it's maybe more popular theory of the origin of the state and law. And I think you can understand why we can speak about this theory like more popular. Yeah. And maybe we'll see some truth, yeah, of this idea too. So for Aristotle, the state is a natural society. Yes, state just a natural society. He shows how man is impelled by his nature to form these societies of family, for example, village, for example, and of course, the state. And man's natural aim is the good life, which is to be found only in the state. I don't know. Maybe you can agree with this idea, yeah, that only in the state we can speak about a good life. Yeah, but maybe it's not like this. I'm quoting. Man is by nature a political animal. Maybe you heard this phrase, yeah? And he, I'm quoting, yeah? And he who by nature and not by mere accident is without a state is either a bad man or above humanity. It's a very, very famous phrase. Why can we say like this? Because Aristotle thought that we cannot live without any rules. We cannot live without any laws. And as a result, we cannot live without state. That is why we are all political animals. Because maybe it's some difference between animal, yeah, and political animal. So that nature intended man to live a social life is proven by man's faculty of speech, which no other animal possesses. Nature does nothing is in vain, from which it follows that men were made to associate with one another. As a result, as some little conclusion, of these ideas, that the concept of natural law was maybe first documented in ancient Greek philosophy, including Aristotle, and was referred to in Roman philosophy by Cicero. It was then developed by Catholic philosophers, and again we can speak here about the such name like Thomas Aquinas. And during the age of enlightenment, I hope that you know what is enlightenment, yeah? Or not? Yeah, просвітництво. So during the age of enlightenment, natural law theories were further developed, combining inspiration from Roman law and social contract theory. So now I want to highlight that this idea of natural theory of the origin of the state was popular not only in the ancient time, but in the time of enlightenment, for example. And of course, here we can speak about transformation of this natural theory to the social contract theory. And of course, this social contract theory is maybe modern theory, if we will try to compare this natural idea, just natural idea, and then this social contract, idea of the social contract. We'll speak about this idea a bit later, but here I want to say that it featured greatly in the works of, for example, Thomas Hobbes. Maybe you heard such name.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Then Hugo Grotius, Samuel von Offendorf, John Locke, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, and so on. Cesare Beccaria. This theory may be more popular, than divine theory, because it was some transformation to the more modern idea of the origin of the state. Then you said about the patriarchal theory, as we remember, and of course we should speak about this idea too. So what is the main idea of the patriarchal theory? Maybe you remember?
The father figure as its figure, and theory is that those families themselves, they create some kind of
maybe a little society, and then this society increase, to some big society with the name state. You are absolutely right. Yes, this is the idea of the patriarchal theory. It was well known in the ancient world again, and updated in the late of Middle Ages. Okay, for example, I should speak about a very famous philosopher, Jean Bodin, and his work with the name, I'm quoting, "The 6 Books of a Commonwealth." And he affirmed that the well-ordered family is true image of the Commonwealth. Maybe you know what is Commonwealth? How can we translate this word? We can translate like суспільство, яке живе гарно. And the theory become a base of justification of royal absolute power. Of course, we can compare, and we can speak about patriarchal theory, like the idea of the patriarchal power in the state. So, the idea of this theory we can see in some book by Robert Filmer. And the name of this book, Patriarchal, on protection of natural rights of kings. The years of this book, 1642, and I think is a perfect example of that. And he tried to prove that primarily God gave kings power to Adam. Yeah, I hope that you remember this story about Adam and Eve. Yeah. And about this idea that the power of king will be with Adam. Yeah, but it was very interesting, maybe some translation of this idea by Robert Filmer, and understanding of this idea by Robert Filmer. And he said that Adam then gave his power to his sons. Yeah, and his sons were kings in some period of time. Yeah, therefore everyone must submit to kings as well as to his or her father. And the ideological drawback of the idea was the fact that Adam had two sons, and one of them was murderer. Therefore, the origin of the state was inevitably connected with immoral and criminal men. And now we should speak about the theory of the social contract. I think we can speak about this theory like a modern theory even. Yeah, maybe because here it can be a very interesting example. For example, the existing and appearing of such state like USA. What is the main idea of this theory? The substance of this theory is that state is the result of an agreement entered into by men who originally had no governmental organization. And in the first period, there was no government and no law. The people lived in a state of nature. Do you remember the idea of the natural theories, yeah, of the origin of the state? And here we can speak about this theory, theory of the social contract, in this way too, that the first time it was just a state of nature. And after some time, they decided to set up a state. Why? What do you think? Why people need to be in some state? Yeah, not in some natural.
To feel protection.
Yeah, of course, you're absolutely right, because they need some protection. Yeah, and of course it was some people who can give this protection. And that is why they speak about some contract, yeah, between these parts of the society. Here we can speak about another interesting ideas of this theory, because it was some writers, and of course writers of this theory are agreed on the point that the state of nature preceded the establishment of government. There was no organized life in the state of nature, but human life conditions and nature of relations is in such pre-state society were a point of discussion. And here again we can speak about Thomas Hobbes and his idea. And maybe you remember the popular idea of Thomas Hobbes, no? No, about natural state and pre-state society. Okay, I'll say about this idea. It's interesting. And in Latin, bellum omnia contra omnes. Don't you know this phrase? No. Okay, in English, war of everyone against everyone. Yeah? Yeah. Війна всіх проти всіх. This is the famous idea from Thomas Hobbes. And he said that it was natural stain, yeah, of the society. These were of everyone against everyone. But here we should speak another philosopher, for example, Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Yeah, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, maybe you heard this name. And he said, and he was sure that natural condition had been peaceful. It was not war. Yeah, everyone against everyone. It was peaceful, ideal, and primitive aboriginal world of freedom. So now you can see absolutely different ideas, yeah, of this natural stain of the humanity. And of course, this idea of the social contract has absolutely different roots, yeah, absolutely different ways of this idea. And the law known to man living in the state of nature was the law of nature or natural law. What about followers? Yeah, followers of natural law. Followers of natural law consider that certain legislative act gave birth to this state. Yeah, I think it's not so difficult for understanding. And this state is a result of social contract that had been put through the nation's will. Next idea you didn't say about this theory, and the name of this theory, Marxist theory. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And how can we explain the origin of the state from this position, from the position of the Marxist theory? No. Yeah, you are right. The main idea of this theory is economy, and the special term surplus product, надлишок певний продукту. But okay, we shouldn't speak maybe about these economical terms here, yeah? We'll speak about another terms, and we need to know the ideas of the origin of the state from the legal, yeah, position, from the position of jurisprudence, maybe. It will be better for us. And this theory, and you know the authors of this theory, Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, and the name of this important work, The Origin of the Family, Private Property, and the State. And here, of course, we should speak about this private property. Yeah? Because if you will want to say some simple thing about this theory, we will say that the origin of the state was because of this private property. Yeah? Why? Do you know why? Because again, people want to protect, yeah, their private property. And that is why, of course, the state is a good mechanism, yeah, for this protection of the private property. And some quotation from these ideas. Society, by all its economic conditions of life, had been forced to split itself into free men and slaves, into the exploiting rich and the exploited poor. Such a society could only exist either in the permanent fight of these classes or under the rule of third power, the state. So if you will have two classes, for example, freemen and slaves, yeah, if we will have exploiting rich and exploited poor, of course, we should have third power. Yeah. And this third power will be the state. Yeah. The state. And now I think we can turn to another idea, because Marxist theory has some link with another idea, and this another idea has name coercive, or another name of this theory, force theory. We spoke about the Marxist theory and some conflict in the society. Yeah, and as a result, we can get the state. And now it's just another idea of the origin of the state, and the name of this idea, force theory. So the state originated as a result of the military conquest of one group by another. Yeah. And it was a little example about Incas and Aztecs. Yeah, and that is why I said about this theory too. So this is the theory of the exogenous origin of the state. And of course, it's exogenous origin of the state because it's about some conquest. Yeah, some conquest. Okay. However, this view had been severely criticized by ethnographers and anthropologists. Yeah, I think you know why. Yeah, because of course we cannot speak about some exogenous origin of the state because of some conquest from the position of anthropological approach. Yeah, or from the positions of ethnographers. And the critics point out that not all the states originated from external conquest. And they disagree that the first states were the result of such nomadic invasion. Yeah. But I should say that in this case, this theory includes some grain of truth. Why? For example, we can speak about the origin of Great Lithuanian Duchy, Велике Князівство Литовське. Origin of the Great Lithuanian Duchy owed to external danger of being captivated by, maybe you know, Teutonic Crusaders. Then another idea, there's so many ideas of the origin of the state. And maybe we will next speak about our next question. Okay, a few words only about oligarchic theory. And the authors of this oligarchy theory, Bertrand de Juvenel and Bertrand Chantebout, yeah, from France, yeah, the idea. And according to their view, states are the outgrowth of natural elites. And in every society, a few individuals obtain the status of elite through talent. Yeah, did you hear something that talent can be the cause of the origin of the state? No? But now I'll speak about this moment. We should outline three kinds of such a talent: wealth, wisdom, and bravery. So these leaders of the natural elite act as war leaders, judges, and peacemakers. And as a result, this small but decisive step in the transition to a state consists precisely of the monopolization of the function of judge and peacemaker. And because of this monopolization, of course, we can get some power, yeah, and representatives of the power. And that is why, as a result, we can get oligarchy, yeah, or oligarchical form of the state. Next idea, a hydraulic hypothesis. Don't hear about this theory. Yeah. Hypothesis. Hydraulic hypothesis of the origin of the state. And here we should speak about such author Karl Wittfogel. These philosophers saw the state arising in the following way. He noticed that early states were raised in arid and semi-arid areas of the world. Do you know what is arid?
No.
Посушливі. Посушливі. І напівпосушливі. Так, semi-arid areas of the world. Farmers had to struggle to support themselves by means of irrigation. So time arrived when they saw that it would be useful to everybody to combine their villages into a single large political unit capable of carrying out irrigation on a broad scale. And that is why from this irrigation and from this idea we can get a state, because they created the body of officials to administer such extensive irrigation work, and the last brought the state into being. And now I think we should go to our other questions. As you remember, I said that we should speak about social regulation in the primitive society. It will be not so difficult question because you know something about this regulation in the primitive society. Maybe you know even some sources of the regulation in the primitive society. Yes or no? Okay. Customs. Yeah? Customs. Maybe you know something more. Religion. Yeah? Customs. Religion. Can we say about these phenomena as regulators in the primitive society? Yes. Yeah. Yes. Why not? So customs, social customs, I think this is the most important source. And public opinion. Public opinion. Yeah. It's a very interesting source. Maybe now, yeah, we shouldn't use this source for the regulation of our society, but now we have another regulator, and this regulator with the name moral. Yeah, moral, not public opinion, but moral. Do you agree with me or not? Yes. Yes. Okay. I said about customs, public opinion, religion is also part of life in primitive societies. Another very interesting regulator, the decisions of a village council. Public opinion in a primitive society is very efficacious, effective, yeah, idea. An individual can even be punished in doing something against the public opinion. And about religion, yeah, a few words about religion, of course, this is the main part of life in primitive society, and the compliance of the rules and regulation connected with the names of deities. Deities, yeah, is compulsory as that of law is generally non-dares to disobey them. Do you know what is deities? No? Божество. Yeah? Deities. Щось божественне таке. Добре. And village council, of course, it's interesting instrument because of this village council in primitive society. They can control the individuals of society and settle their mutual disputes. And now I should say that, for example, somebody did something in this primitive society and it was some punishment for this person. Yeah, and this punishment is mostly the shape of feast. Do you know what is feast? Yeah, свято, свято. Like feast in this primitive society, and a feast to be given to an entire village. And so long as the accused doesn't give the feast, he is neglected by people of his clan. Yeah. So it was some regulator, and that is why another member of this village, for example, will not do something like this. Yeah, because of such punishment. Okay. I just wanted to say about three ideas of our last question about typology of the state. And here we should speak about Marxist approach, civilization approach, and technocrat approach. Maybe you heard about these approaches, yeah, of the classification of the state. And you will just read, yeah, about these approaches. Maybe you have some questions. No? Sure? Okay. You can go. Have a nice day. Goodbye.